I would like to apologize. Wait. Oh, wait, that's the wrong script. What the Hello? I'm not even on the wrong account. Okay, that's great. I would like to apologize in advance if I sound weird on the mic. My throat has been feeling funny all day. I might be coming down with something. Anyways. Oh boy. It's a very heavy topic, huh? Hello there. Hello there, everyone. My name is Reverie. Sure. Hello there, everyone. My name is Reverie. Hello there, everyone. My name is Reverie. This video is going. This video is. This video is going to be a little different from my usual content. It's going to be a little more heavy, more serious. It's about someone whose loss weighed heavily, not just on me, but on the hearts of millions of gamers. It's about someone whose loss. It's about someone whose loss. It's about someone whose loss weighed heavily, not just on me, but on the hearts of millions of gamers and game developers around the world. Let's turn the clock back a bit. Back to July 2025. Back to July 2015. It was the day that shook the gaming industry as news spread of the passing of one of gaming's greatest figures, Satoru Iwata. More than a decade later, his impact can still be felt throughout the industry. Whether you're a lifelong Nintendo fan or someone who simply loves video games. Chances are you felt his influence one way or another, even without realizing it. And that's what I want to talk about today. This video is my tribute to Satoru. This video is my tribute to Satoru Iwata. A man who never let his title define his passion for games. When people talk about artists, game developers are rarely the first thing to come to mind. Usually it's painters, musicians, filmmakers, sculptors, or writers. But to me, video game development is one of the most unique forms of art because it brings all of those creative disciplines together. Artists build worlds, musicians give them sound, writers give them meaning, programmers bring everything to life. Together, they create experiences. Together, they create experiences capable of making us laugh, cry, and remember moments for years. Let me give you some background info. In the late 1970s and early 1980s, video games were still finding their identity. Home consoles like the Atari 2600 were rising in popularity, while arcade culture was booming worldwide. But the industry grew too quickly. In 1983, the video game market in North America collapsed, leading to widespread failure across the industry. It wasn't until 1985 when Nintendo released the Nintendo Entertainment. It wasn't until 1985 when Nintendo released the Nintendo Entertainment System that the industry truly began to recover. And in doing so, it didn't just save a business. It helped shape the future of an entire medium. One of the people who will grow up inspired by that future was Satoru was Satoru Iwata. Satoru Iwata was born on December. Satoru Iwata was born on Sapporo, Japan, on December 6th. Fuck. Satoru Iwata was born in Sapporo, Japan, on December 6th, 1959. Despite being the son of a politician, he found himself fascinated by something entirely different: technology. Even at a young age, computers weren't simply machines to him. They were opportunities, ways to create something that other people could enjoy. While still in high school, Iwata programmed one of his while still in high school, Iwata programmed one of his very first games using a while in high school, Iwata programmed one of his very first games using while in high school. While still in high school, Iwata programmed one of his very first games using nothing more than a calculator equipped with a magnetic card reader. By today's standards, that might not sound particularly impressive. But imagine trying to make a video game on a calculator. He'd bring these little creations to school to share him with to sh- he'd bring these little creations to school to share them with his friends, watching them smile, watching them laugh, watching them have fun. That brought Iwata that brought Iwata immense that brought Iwata that brought Iwata immense joy. And according to those who knew him, it was during those moments that he realized what he wanted to do with his life. In 1978, Iwata enrolled at the Tokyo Institute of Technology, majoring in computer science and engineering. While attending college, he spent much of his free time surrounded by people who shared his passion for technology and video games. Together, they discussed programming, new ideas, and the rapidly growing future of interactive entertainment. Those conversations eventually led many of them those conversations in those conversations eventually led many of them, including Iwata, to a small company known as HAL Laboratory. Still recording. At the time, HAL wasn't the Nintendo partner we know today. It was a young studio filled with ambitions. It was a young studio filled with ambitious developers who simply wanted to make great video games. And Iwata quickly became one of its most valuable members. One of the things that stood out about him wasn't just his programming ability. It was his willingness to do, well, just about anything. If the company needed a programmer, he programmed. If they needed a designer, he designed. If they needed a designer, he designed. If they needed someone to coordinate development, he stepped in. If marketing needed help, he helped there too. Whatever the team needed, Iwata was there. One of the things that stood out about him wasn't just his programming ability. It was his will. Fucking hell. Okay, already. Whatever the team needed, Iwata was there. His first credited video game was Super Billy. His first credited game was Super Billy. His first credited game was Super Billiards for the MSX computer. From there, he will contribute to and from there he will continue from there he will continue he will contribute to an ever-growing list of projects while HAL worked closely alongside Nintendo. Eventually, those efforts helped give birth to franchises that millions of players will come to enjoy. Eventually, those